So I'm out here tonight again working, and it's quiet like it has been. Uh, it's a pretty uneventful spot. No traffic, pretty far off the beaten path. So it gets quiet. You get up in there, you get to thinking about things. And I don't know who needs to hear some shit like this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't know why we spend so much time and effort trying to prove ourselves to people that only focus on negative shit or things that they can perceive as negative without ever acknowledging anything that doesn't affect them in a negative way. You can do a million things for some people, and they'll either find a way to talk themselves into believing you had an ulterior motive, or they'll ignore it outright. And like when they say you've done nothing and you're like, well, that's not true, then they're like, well, you've always got to throw things in my face. Now, there's a lot of people out there like that, and I don't understand those people, and I don't think I ever will. I don't need to. I need to better understand myself and the things that I'm doing. I don't have to understand them. I think putting in the effort to try to understand why they want to see the worst in you is detrimental to your mental health. I've done it myself. It's not been good for me at all. It's not been good for me to ignore things that I know and share responsibility for things that I had no part in, but I've done it knowing it's unhealthy. It's not been good for me at all to try to prove my love to anybody ever, or to get them to see my worth after they decided I didn't have any. And I've done that not many times in my life, but just a couple. Like, I always tried to earn a place with my dad. I always tried to prove to him that I was worth something. And that might have affected me some, but I don't think that it's what caused me to try to prove something this most recent time. I was married, and I'm not gonna put all of our business out there, but at the end of it, we had a conversation, and she had already made up her mind before we really had a conversation. So the conversation was just to let me know it was all my fault, which nothing else that happened mattered. All that matters is that she told me she never thought that I really loved her. So that sent me down a path where I felt obligated, because I felt like I had failed. I felt like I needed to prove something, and it had me ignore a lot of things, and it had me share accountability for a lot of things that I had no responsibility for. But she didn't ask me to share accountability for those things. When something happened, or I found out something that had happened, or that was a choice she had made solely on her own, I would say, well, I put her in the position to feel that way, so that's why that thing happened. And that was all on me. I was trying to be this understanding, forgiving person that I really am. I'm a really reasonable person, and I want to forgive people. I don't hold grudges. It's a whole thing. It's always been that way. But I've never not stood up for myself the way that I did in this situation. I've never not taken a stand and been like, fuck that, you did that, has nothing to do with me, I'm not letting you make an excuse. Like, I don't get to give explanations, you don't get to fucking blame everything on some way I made you feel. I wallowed in self-loathing for a long time after the whole ordeal. I would wear my pain as like a badge of honor to, if I'm willing to fucking hurt this bad over all of this, then certainly that proves that I love you. That was my frame of mind. That was my reasoning. And I know now that over the time we were together, throughout the time we were together, there were plenty of times that I had already proven that. I'd already proven anything I might have needed to prove. And I knew that the entire time. I knew everything that I had done. I knew everything good and bad that I had done. But I knew 100% that I had never given her a reason to think that I didn't love her. I have thoughts on it now, why that was ever said. But I'm not going to assume anything based on a feeling, and I'm not going to make an accusation. I've talked to her about it, and that's private conversation. The only thing that I'm trying to get across isn't what happened. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me or think that I'm right and she's wrong, or that I'm good and she's bad. That's not what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here is saying, we have this, I think we have a need to prove ourselves. Maybe not everybody, but some of us do. If you related all of this video, I think that you understand. And I think that it stems from multiple things, but I think that For me, it's that I've always had adversity. I've always had a struggle. I've always had to push myself. I've always had to fight for whatever it was I wanted. I've always had to overcome an obstacle. And I've never learned to pick my battles. So when somebody that you love unconditionally tells you they don't believe you ever loved them, you think there's a way to prove it. I'm going to tell you right now, once someone has gotten in their head an idea of you, no matter how accurate it is, that's their perception. That's what they want to be true. No matter what, they want that to be the truth. So there's no change in their mind. There's no proving anything. If they can't see it, that's on them. Don't lose yourself in trying to prove something to somebody else. Look, I'm trying to think of a way to give an example without her potentially seeing this and thinking I'm an asshole, for one. And because, like, I'm not bad-mouthing anybody, because this is a person that I care a great deal about. We have a child together, and I hold no resentment. I resent myself a little bit for not being who I am and taking a stand against bullshit sooner. It has been used as manipulation at times when I've been told that, oh, this proves you never loved me if I disagree on something, or I have a point of view and perspective on something that differs from hers, and we have a disagreement regarding the kid or whatever it may be, or regarding a reaction to something that happened, whatever it is, that just confirmed how she felt. No matter if I had valid concerns or not, having the concerns and being willing to fight for what I thought was right and have equal accountability meant that, oh, that just proves that you never loved me. Well, that's not how that works, because you're using certain events to confirm a decision that you made without any corroborating evidence, because we argued while we was married. Never called each other names. Neither of us was ever violent. It just, we would have disagreements. I would occasionally, like, there were times I've been loud. There are times that on 3 occasions I broke some shit. Like, just one thing on each occasion, but 3 times I broke something. And one of those was unintentional because I didn't know it was there. It doesn't it doesn't say that any of that's okay, but to cherry pick events and decide way after the fact while telling somebody that everything's okay, and then decide that, oh no, now I've realized I've been miserable for years after any time you're at the question was presented that, hey, is everything okay? Are we okay? What can I do? You know, upset, like, what's up? And you constantly tell the other person that, no, everything's fine, everything's great, you know, like, you can't do anything different, I have no complaints, we're fine, you're awesome, you're amazing, this, that, and the other. And then to wake up one morning and, okay, now that's different, it's naturally confusing to the other person. So if you're one of these people that just like has decided that everything went from perfect, you're happy, couldn't be happier, to you've been miserable the whole time overnight or within a month, then have a little empathy with your partner's confusion, because you've concealed your feelings or whatever for long enough that they don't understand where this is coming from. So have a little bit of empathy with the fact that they don't understand, because you told them the opposite for a very long time of how you felt, and you used how you felt in secret as an excuse for things you said to other people, things you got involved in, any of that shit. Like, that person is naturally going to be upset finding out that they've been lied to for years, and then they're going to be hurt by every betrayal that comes after that. And you need to expect a reaction if you're not honest. Because, like, I'm going to be real right out of the gate. Had she come to me either before she developed resentment and we actually talked it out and she said what she wanted to say, and if it wasn't settled and she couldn't live with the outcome of that, she said that, hey, you know, that's not good enough. I don't think I'm going to be able to ever let it go. I appreciate the conversation, but I think that I'm always going to hold this against you, and I think we should go our separate ways. I would have had a lot more respect for that. I think that, no, I know for a fact, had she come to me after she had decided and been honest about every other thing that had been going on, I would have just said, okay, yeah, you're probably right, it's best. I wouldn't have asked her to stay and us to try to work it out if I had known everything that she knew. Had she told me everything she had going on, the things that she had said to other people about me, how she felt, and, you know, just some of the things that she justified because she wouldn't talk to me and find a solution. I was just told her, yeah, I think you're probably right. If you're going to do XYZ and this has been going on and you wouldn't talk to me until after all this shit had happened and after you, like, I would have just been like, no, I'm not gonna ask you to stay. I'm not gonna try to fix something that you've let get so far gone that it would require me forgiving you now. Like, something that I've always been willing to do, but I'm not going to let someone lie and betray me and then come to me after the fact to tell me that we need to talk about whatever X, Y, Z. When she came to me and she presented it the way she did, it made me just want to work harder. You know, like, no, we can fix this because this is all simple shit. This is all easy. This is all easy. Yeah, I can just do more. I can do more, and I can, you know, be more patient about things that I never just exploded on anybody my whole life. That's not the way that I do things. And there's not another person in the world that will say that I've ever just blown up over something without it being a thing that had been addressed in other ways previously. You know, so there's nobody else that knows me anywhere that would say, yeah, man, you just walk around and blow up for no reason. Because I don't. It takes a lot to piss me off, but once it's gotten to that point, I'm like, fucking, if nobody's gonna listen to me, fuck all this shit, and I get mad for a second. It never lasts. I always fucking walk away from the situation and then come back when level heads can prevail, apologize, and try to talk about it. But it doesn't make it okay at all. I do need to find a better way to process that shit. I'm not abusive. I don't run people down, but I do fucking pitch little boy fits about shit after months of fucking being ignored and not having a voice. It does make me feel like, well, if you can't hear me when I talk, I might need to, if when I'm talking you're not listening, maybe I just wasn't loud enough. So let me fucking be a little bit louder here to get my point across. And maybe you'll hear me. Now, that's not entirely flawed logic either. It's just not something people tend to respond well to. It's just something that's worked when I was in the Marine Corps or when I was younger. It seemed like, you know what, to let people know that they're pissing you off, you can yell about it. So I don't think anybody hasn't had a loud argument in a relationship. Where I overstep isn't just fucking being like, what the fuck, you know? Like, if you can't do something, don't fucking have me dependent on you doing it, or like, don't say you're gonna take care of this and then not. Don't fucking say, don't, you know, whatever it may be. Like, it's always easy to see it from the position where you're hurt from, but it's never really easy to understand why somebody else is upset. Once they're upset, they're just hurting you now. But the 2 weeks you told them that, hey, yeah, I'll call him tomorrow, I'll call tomorrow to take care of something, then eventually that person's going to be like, I'm fucking really out of patience for tomorrow. Like, so I know today when you say tomorrow, you're going to take care of it tomorrow, or I'm going to damn take care of it myself. That had to do with guinea pigs. That we bought 2 male guinea pigs and then they made babies. So then we had a whole litter of guinea pigs in a cage in our dining room, and I was not okay with that. I said, the pet store made this mistake. They need to take these damn guinea pigs and make this right. Please, like, I wasn't the one. I was just along for the ride on all of this stuff. I didn't. All it was I was like, she got the first guinea pig got bought, and I was like, okay, guinea pig, cool. The kid needs guinea pig because his hedgehog had died, whatever. I was on board. Then turns out guinea pigs are social creatures, so we need a second guinea pig. Okay, just make sure they're both the same sex. I'm good with it. I'm not gonna protest. Then they had little guinea babies. So at that point, I was like, they fucked us. They definitely were a pet store that couldn't tell the sex of their guinea pigs. So, like, let's call them and get them to, for one, match the sexes of the grown-up guinea pigs. Like, we got to trade one out so we don't make any more babies. And for two, like, they need to buy these fucking babies back, or just take them back. And it seemed more fair for them to buy them since they had sold us fucking guinea pigs, and now we had made them more from the ones they had sold us. But it wasn't a prerequisite. If they had said, no, we can take them, but we're not going to pay you anything for them, okay, cool. It still gets guinea pigs out of my dining room. But the phone call was never made until I was so frustrated that I was like, I'm going to go bury these motherfuckers. I'll feed them to one of your other animals. Like, I'm tired of tomorrow. Like, this has went on as long as I can stand being told it's going to happen tomorrow. I know where I went wrong there, but even admitting that, hey, good initiative, bad judgment, I fucking overstepped there. After I'd been like, hey, when are you gonna fucking take care of this? Like, when are you gonna, basically, when are you going to clean up the mess you made? Regarding this thing that I've just been along for the ride for. Do you want me to call them? Because I will, but, like, no, I'll call them tomorrow. And I never presented it in a way that, oh, when are you going to clean up your own mess? It was just, you're off during the day, I'm working during the day. You can call them in the morning when they're open. You can call them on one of your days off through the week when they're open. When is this going to get handled? So after so long, I absolutely got pissed. Does it make it okay that I told her that I was going to feed the fucking things to the dog? Probably not. And I would never say that it does. But is it understandable that somebody would get frustrated at that point? I believe that it is. Now, I might be way off base. There might be more people out there that think that I'm wrong than right. But I don't. Because everybody procrastinates. Everybody does it. Everybody will say, hey, I'm going to do something, and then get sidetracked and forget to do it. Like, I've forgot to drag the fucking trash out to the road for pickup. And, like, she was upset about said thing. But she, again, she sat on being upset and never said anything, versus me who overblew it. So, like, I understand everybody forgets things, but like, when there's a discussion and then a text message sent the next day to say, hey, just reminding you, whatever you told me to remind you, and then it still doesn't happen, it kind of sucks. It doesn't. There's a little bit of empathy there. There should be. Like, I would empathize with the fact that she was upset if she had called me in the morning while I was getting up, getting ready, and trying to get me and the kid dressed and out the door, and said, hey, don't forget the trash. Don't forget to do that. Then I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, got you. But to secretly be upset about it when I would forget, which she would text me after I left the house and be like, hey, did you remember to take the trash out to the road? Well, we were talking while I was getting up and getting the kid ready, and I didn't get a reminder, but now I'm getting a, hey, did you remember? After I can't go back and do it, then that's different. And then she was getting upset because she would have to not have her after work social life because the trash needed to be pulled to the road, and now I'm interrupting her being able to go hang out with people I didn't know existed, or go sit in the TJ Maxx parking lot and wait on them to open so she could go buy whatever Ray Dunn stuff dropped that day. So, like, she wasn't checking on the trash. She was seeing that if she was going to have to forego her normal social life to go get the trash. And it wasn't about the trash not going out or me forgetting. It was about it interrupting her social life, which, if her social life was that important, I'd have been glad to let her have that, versus continuing to put in effort and believe her priorities were anywhere else. Now, again, I'm not bad-mouthing anybody. I'm just saying that we were both flawed people, and no matter how many times I asked what she needed, she told me everything was fine. It's got to, there has to be some common ground. You have to talk to each other in a relationship to make it work. You have to be willing to have hard conversations. You have to be willing to compromise for the other person, so they feel they never start feeling like you don't give a shit about what they say, and then they never have a reason to get fucking crazy upset and lose patience. And if you sit and you ask somebody, hey, whatever, fucking 1,000 times, and they either don't acknowledge or don't care how you feel in the situation, eventually you're going to be like, why the fuck do I even talk to you? Why am I here? What? I don't think that taking that and then telling somebody that you don't believe they ever loved you after you've made your fair share of mistakes, instead of just coming out and being like, hey, I've been doing this and I like this better than being here. There's endless possibilities, and I don't think we're compatible because I've changed my mind about what I want. That would be a better way to handle the situation. Give the person the information and let them decide if they want to work on it, or if they're still willing to put in the effort to change for somebody that hasn't been honest with them. Which, there was a time I still would have put in the effort. I've put in the effort to prove my love for a long time after. It's embarrassing. For 4 years, I've wallowed in just a pathetic fucking shell of myself, man. Like, I almost completely lost myself. I still had some dignity, but like, the pain became like a badge of honor that I'd wear. Like, no, it's okay for me to be this miserable and to just accept that it comes with the territory trying to prove my love. That there's no other way to prove it, and that eventually, if I allow myself to not pick myself up off the ground for long enough, she's gonna look at that and be like, oh man, he really can't recover. He definitely loved me. And it matter at all. Like, if you don't respect yourself, nobody else ever will either. If they ever did to begin with. That you never loved me is a trap. It's a trap, whether it be intentional or unintentional, which there's not a part of me that would say it was unintentional. When the person's spent enough time to know without a doubt the reaction that would elicit. So it does 100%, whether I'm right about it or not, 100% it comes across as intentional. Because it's like a magician. If they get you looking one way, you're not going to look at anything else. Which, once some other shit happened, I started digging into everything and anything, which was, now I have this duality thing going on where, like, I know what's going on. I know that there's a bunch of bullshit, and I know that people haven't been honest about what's up, but still, I want her to know that I loved her. I want her to know that I love her, that I can forgive. And I went through this process for a long time. I got out of the place where I was even trying to be like, hey, we could work this out. I can forgive you and get over it. There came a time after so long, it was within the first year of 2021. Like, it was within 2021 that I knew that I didn't think I'd be capable of moving past things anymore. It got worse in 2023. In 2023, I knew without a doubt that the trust would be something that would be pretty hard to ever have again. Not just for her, but with anybody. Like, I'm never going to trust anybody like enough to be really in something, because this is somebody that I really believed meant what they said. It was one of the only times in my life that it is the only time in my life that somebody other than family had said, hey, I love you, that I believed that I mattered. Now, that's because of, a lot of other contributing factors, like things that emotions people show and things like that, little cues that you can pick up on. Like, a lot of people that it's just something you say, and it's just something that they're saying. A lot of people, you'll further a relationship just because it seems like the next logical step, and you're complacent and you're comfortable, and neither of you are in love the way you need to be, for one. But when you're leaving to go to a foreign country while you're in the Marine Corps, and the person that loves you doesn't show any emotion regarding that, that's a big sign that they don't really love you. So, like, I don't know. Like, I never really believed it before. So, with her, I had some job offers in 2013, and I was leaving town, and she just broke down on me when we were saying bye. Like, I actually had a hard time even leaving, and I'd already quit my job in town, and it was hard for me to not be like, fuck that, dude, I can't leave. But I had to take one of these other two gigs or be unemployed until I could find something else. And I had other things that were waiting on me. So I was forced to, because I'd painted myself in that corner, trying to get away from the complicated thing that I had created, and just step away for a minute to figure out where I really was, what I wanted, what I wanted in my life, and stop being in a position to hurt other people. And I don't think that I was dishonest about that at all. But then I knew that, well, then I believed what she was telling me. Like, she was the first person that showed concern over not seeing me again. I hadn't experienced that a lot in life. I've kind of always been expendable to people and gotten used to that, and she definitely said something different. So after that, we both made mistakes. We had a kid. Like, we've made more mistakes. We've hurt each other. We've apologized. We've worked it out. We've worked through it and worked on it. And I think that everybody in a relationship goes through that stuff. I think quitting is easy, but I think that it takes a lot of effort to ignore and convince yourself that it's okay to just quit because there's nothing good going to come of it, when there's been plenty of good, and a lot of good had come from it. Both of our lives would be different in not a good way had we not met each other. I don't think either one of us would be in a better place than we got to together. I could be wrong, like, I could have fucking maybe become a millionaire and she might have been happy and, living on a beach somewhere. I don't know, but I don't think either one of us was fulfilled anywhere else as we were once we got together. I know I wasn't, and I wouldn't have been had I went out and made $1 million. Like, it wouldn't have made me as happy as the time we shared and the child we have together and things like that. It wouldn't have compared. Like, no matter what else happened in my life, I don't think that it would have been better than the time that we shared. So I don't know how you get to a place where you don't see that anymore, but maybe they never saw it to begin with and we're just great actors. I don't know. Maybe it was never what they really wanted. They just said so to get what they wanted, like whatever that goal was, whether it was to be the choice and win, or whether it was I don't know what it was about now. I don't know what the motive was. I don't know why she stayed when she says she was so miserable, even when we were dating, like that I did things to make her miserable. I don't know why she pursued it any further. I don't know why she was upset that I was leaving town if it was that bad. Like, the things that she says now don't corroborate or don't match up with the things that she did then. So that's where things don't line up. If this is how you felt, like, why did you even bother? So anyway, I believe that I could talk her into seeing that, hey, you're saying this, but I thought that I could use logic to work the problem, and be like, that doesn't make sense. Like, if this is what caused that, then why was this all going on a year prior? Like, whatever it was, like, whatever the fucking, and no, it's not this horrible string of infidelity or anything like that. Don't get the wrong fucking idea. I don't want to leave it way up to the imagination either. Like, there were betrayals. Like, I'm not going to tell that lie either, that there was nothing that wasn't fucking pretty damn heinous. But it wasn't her running around all over town with a bunch of people. Like, so it's somewhere in between there. Like, it's not something that I hate her for. Like, it's not something that I couldn't have forgiven. The things that lost me were way later down the line. It was not understanding why any of those things could upset me. Like, why I would get mad when all those things came out months after it all being my fault. So if you lie to somebody so many times and then they eventually, like, months later blow up and lose their mind because all they're trying to do is be the most forgiving, best version of themselves they can be, and trust you even after you've told a bunch of lies. You've misled them multiple times. If you still can't empathize with after time of being let down and being made to feel fucking stupid, they don't eventually be like, why the fuck? What the fuck, man? And blow up a little bit over that shit and say some shit they might not mean. Like, I'm not saying that they should be excused or that people should just be able to talk to each other however they want to. But I think that we all need to see outside of ourselves and try to be more understanding. But I also think that, like, we shouldn't create a situation and then be surprised when it blows up. If you build a fucking bomb and then it goes off, you can't be shocked. All I asked for after we separated was just be honest. Just trust me to tell me the truth, and let's have a clean slate with each other and just take things at face value and be honest from here on out. And that's all I want, man. Because I did just want to maybe fucking still be able to rebuild something based on what I knew. And I thought, like, if I'm forgiving of the things that I know already, that have already come out, if I kind of let shit go, and, you know, she's honest with me and I'm honest with her, and we're just fucking real, maybe we'll find that thing. So this hope that I had gave me faith that wasn't... gave me faith in her that wasn't earned, but I still was disappointed any time that it was shat on. And it kept happening for longer than I'm proud of. Even now, man, like, I just want to take her word for things. And I still do. Like, I still have I ask questions, but then we had a custody hearing Friday, and I got blindsided by this safety concern that I've not heard about until we were in a courtroom, because I have a pending charge due to a stolen vehicle, and whoever stole it running from the cops, and all they got was my tag number. So the warrant went out for me, and I just didn't find out till much later. And like, I'm not going to present my defense on YouTube, but there's no way that it could have been me on that date. And that's able to be proven. Doesn't matter what the details of that are, but yeah, that's just how it is. So this is something she's known about as long as I've known about. I told her about it as soon as I knew, and then all of a sudden, when the judge doesn't sound like he's gonna go their way on something, they're like, oh wait, what about the safety issue? And I'm not getting into detail about our custody court or what's going on there or why it's even happening. Like, that's not anybody's business. But it seemed disingenuous, and I wasn't even mad about that. I just said, I told her after court, like, that came across as very disingenuous, and I expected more, like, just because I expect us to be able to talk to each other about that sort of thing. Like, if you have a safety concern, I want you to be able to come to me. If you think that I'm in any way a danger to our child, I'll address whatever concerns you have. And if I don't address them, or I downplay them and act like you're crazy, I would expect you to act on that, not wait for months for us to be in front of a judge and then mention it. That seems disingenuous, because if there's really a safety concern and you did nothing, that's irresponsible. If there's a safety concern and you didn't bring it up, you just, hoped for the best, it definitely seems like that's irresponsible, in my opinion. But to bring it up when you might not get your way, to get court put off until later, definitely, or to just make me look bad and change the judge's mind, because she didn't know it was going to get continued at that point, just to be like, oh, he got charged with XYZ, whatever it was, and he has this pending charge that gives us safety concerns. You know what? You've known about that for almost 6 months. So why is it just now coming up? That's going to change the judge's perception of somebody. I don't think it's going to be me. But, I'm not trying to sling mud. I just want more time with my son. Just open honesty. It's that easy. Just be real. Just own your mistakes. Move forward. Don't try to prove yourself to anybody. Like, my problem is I kept trying to prove something, and I thought that the more I allowed myself to suffer, the more I was willing to sacrifice, the more I let things hurt and wallowed in that, it would prove my love. I'm just saying, don't lose yourself trying to prove something to somebody you've already proven it to. Remember who you are, what you've done, and if they don't, it doesn't matter. You can't show somebody something with their eyes closed. And you don't have to not love that person. You don't have to not love somebody just because they don't love you or never did, or whatever the case may be. Like, that doesn't mean that you have to be like, well, I fucking never did either. No, man. You're allowed to feel what you want to feel. You're allowed to still believe in that feeling without losing yourself with wanting to earn theirs. You're never going to. If you haven't already, after a decade of effort, you're not going to. Like, you're never going to earn something or show somebody something that they're unwilling to see or accept. All you're going to do is lose yourself, because I've done it. And you're going to hurt yourself, and you don't deserve it. Like, no, just because that person doesn't love you doesn't mean you deserve to hurt. That's not how it works. Basically, don't do what I did. Like, it's a bad idea. It'll fucking ruin your life. Well, you'll lose self-respect, and then you'll lose respect from friends, and you'll lose respect from the person that you're trying to prove something to as well. So don't fucking do that. Like, don't give up your respect chasing something, chasing a love that you're never going to get, trying to prove something you're never going to prove. Like, be smart, man. Don't be a dumbass. I was a dumbass. Don't do that. I love her 100%. Never going to change. But it doesn't have to matter. She doesn't have to believe it. And she doesn't have to feel the same way. She did plenty to earn the love that I have for her. It doesn't matter what she did to alienate me after. That doesn't mean the love doesn't exist. It just means that it won't mean what it used to. Like, just, it doesn't have to. If nobody else needed to hear this shit, maybe I'm talking to myself. I doubt anybody will watch this fucking video anyway, because, well, I don't know how to fucking do YouTube. I just fucking do it. But, like, I got a million lessons that I could teach, a million stories to tell, and they're all interesting, but somebody's got to hear it first. I don't have the presentation. But anyway, if you did watch, thank you. I hope it was helpful. Other than that, I guess it was just therapy for me.